16. Devil Daggers. Devil Daggers came out of nowhere and it stole my heart for a little while, which is the main reason I'm putting it on this list. It's a simple game. You have daggers and you need to throw them at devils. Survive the longest and you win. There's no frills, no power-ups or quests, just an old-style arena shooter where your only goal is to survive longer than your friends. 15. Valhalla. I didn't think one of my favorite games this year would be about a girl serving drinks to random strangers in a bar and just talking to them about their day, but this game is simple, charming, and incredibly chill to play. The game's world is incredibly well realized for something that takes place almost completely in a single room. So, do as the game says, grab a few drinks, some snacks, and get ready to spend a relaxing bit of time with a shaker and an open ear. 14. World of Warcraft Legion. Warlords of Draenor brought me back into World of Warcraft for a short time. Legion may have brought me back for good, at least until the next Cataclysm. The retcons and new writing, along with the new systems like World Quest, Mythic Dungeons returning to the old ways, and the streamlined class order halls all bring the game nearly back to its former glory. The new zones are interesting, the bosses are fun, and the story feels like it's going somewhere, and the game is generally more enjoyable now than it has been in nearly a decade. 13. Enter the Gungeon. Charming, punny, and incredibly fun, Enter the Gungeon definitely had to make it onto my list this year. The best way I can describe the game is a mix of Binding of Isaac, Nuclear Throne, and Dodge Roll thrown in for good measure. The art style is cute, and enemies are designed well, and bosses are difficult. Gungeon does what I love about Isaac, but better in my opinion. 12. Starbound. I've rewritten this 3 times, but honestly I can't help but take a pot shot at No Man's Sky when I talk about Starbound. Starbound does what a lot of No Man's Sky promised for a fourth of the price, and it looks a lot better in my opinion. There's a massive universe to explore, a storyline to follow if you want, multiplayer, a great soundtrack, and just really fun. So if you're looking for a survival crafting game, grab it. I'd honestly say it's one of the best out there. 11. Superhot. Superhot is the most innovative shooter I've played in years. "10. Darkest Dungeon. Oppressive, brutal, foreboding, and rock hard, all of this describes Darkest Dungeon. It's also stylish and a little charming, too. The narrator, a man who I swear was born specifically to talk about the old gods and their ilk, lends character to that game in a way that few other things could. The visual style is dark, but also sometimes heroic, sending across the feeling of there being some small spark of light in the Darkest Dungeon. 9. Sultan Sanctuary. A noble attempt at combining Souls-esque combat and Metroidvania, Sultan Sanctuary's combat feels as violent as it looks. A monochrome color palette with only hints of red lend to the just oppressive feel the world has. Bosses are interesting and the zones feel different enough from each other. The story that is sparsely told is intriguing, and it's overall a blast to play. 8. Dark Souls 3. Outside of my brief experience trying to get Dark Souls to work on my PC, I'd never played a true FromSoft Souls game before. Dark Souls 3 sucked me in the moment I fought the Abyss Watchers and never let me go after. I've dropped more time into that game this year than most others I've played combined. The bosses are visually striking, the zones unique and interesting, soundtrack astounding, and the combat feels refined to the point of almost being perfect, if not for some camera issues. 7. Watch Dogs 2. Watch Dogs was an average game that was brought down by shitty advertising and a terrible character. Watch Dogs 2 keeps the gameplay, adds more, and has some of the best characters I've had the pleasure of hanging out with an amazingly diverse cast, not just in the main characters, but the supporting ones as well. There are a few missteps in the story that drag it down for me, but overall it's a gorgeous romp hacking around San Francisco. 6. Owlboy. Owlboy was nearly a decade in the making, and it feels like every moment of that time was spent pouring love into it. The animations are gorgeous, every single screen is a wonder to look at, and Notice may be the single most lovable character that's come out this year. I have not finished it as of writing this, but it is firmly on my list, and honestly could go higher by the time I'm done. It's fun, beautiful, and I'm absolutely itching to make more friends and continue the journey I've started. 5. Doom. I still don't understand what black magic id practiced to make this game good, let alone amazing, but they definitely had their own trip to hell during the dev process. Doom has no right to be as good as it is, and I'm so glad that they were able to do it. Not only does it look amazing, but it's one of the few decently optimized games this year. It's also so fucking fun to play that I might have already recorded the entire thing. If you haven't played Doom, please do. 4. Firewatch. The writing and style of Firewatch make the game. It's visually stunning, so much so that I've gone back and played the free roam mode multiple times now just to walk around and look at that world again. What really makes it stand out is the game's writing. The dialogue between Henry and Delilah feels natural, and the way they handle the story being told feels real. I grew to absolutely love Delilah by the end of the game, and while I was sad it ended, I felt the ending was just right. 3. Titanfall II. Titanfall was a good but lacking game. Titanfall 2 brings along what the first was desperately missing, a campaign. It doesn't just bring it along though. It's the best single-player shooter experience I've had in years. The writing is top-notch, and the level design and mechanics are astounding, and the story has some truly amazing moments. That's not even touching on the single-player, which, among other things, absolutely killed Overwatch for me. 2. Stardew Valley. A quiet, calming game with a surprising amount of depth. The sheer amount of content in the game is shocking, especially considering it's made by one person. The soundtrack changes as the seasons pass, crops change, you can delve into the mines for treasure, get married, get gay married, have kids, adopt a kid, have a pet, build your farm any way you want. You can do so much in this game. Of all the games I've played this year, this is the one I continue to come back to whenever I need to relax and wind down. Number 1. Hyperlight Drifter. Hyperlight Drifter drips style, charm, and just cool factor. It's a game that just makes you feel cool. The soundtrack, visual design, characters, animations, colors, everything in this game looks and sounds absolutely amazing. A story told through inference and scenery instead of text or dialogue. One that led the community around it deciphering a language built into the scenery and onto tablets hidden through the game. A community that spent weeks hunting down the secret items and finding paths that led to hidden challenges. This game inspired something in me that I haven't felt for a game in a long time. Something that I'm still working towards, thanks to losing my save file. I want to complete it. I want to find every hidden thing in it for myself, learn everything I can about the lore, master every fight in the game. I adore this game more than any other on this list, and that's obviously why it's at the top. So yeah, those are my 16 favorite games from 2016. I'd like to give an honorable mention to Kentucky Route Zero Act 4, but since that game came out 3 years ago, I can't really put it on this list. Oxenfree and Overwatch. Those were all pretty good. I have misgivings about Overwatch that I'll discuss at some other time, but those are 3 games that were very nearly on the list. Actually, I had Kentucky Route Zero on there and decided that it couldn't because it was only 1/4 of that current experience and the game is not complete. I'd also like to throw a shout out for Void and Meddler Part 2. It's, the game has issues, but it's really good, so if you'd like to check that out, I'd say go for it. Oh, and Abzu. Abzu, I have not gotten to play enough into it to warrant putting it on this list, but from what I've seen, it's astounding, so that as well. Outside of that, yeah. Oh, Pony Island. I completely forgot about Pony Island. Sorry, I'm going through my Steam list right now, looking at games that I know came out this year. Pony Island, I have not played, but I know a lot about it, and it may have taken a spot on this list if I had gotten the game earlier in the year. Anyway, that's it for this, and I will see you later. Have a nice night, everyone.